Well, we're off today on a little local adventure, going over by Susanville to go out in the desert. And there's a little road that I've been on years ago on my motorcycle. I haven't been on there for years, and so I was thinking we might take that one and just get out in the desert for a bit. It's been cooler than average this year, and so it's finally starting to warm up. Today is going to be in the 90s probably, or close to it, maybe in the high 80s. And so being out in the desert might be a little much, but we'll see how it goes. The next few days though, it's going to get even hotter. So anyway, always adventure. This is the kind of the fact of life now for us. Road work. This is Belfast Road. Goes out to a little settlement called Belfast. A lot of wild sunflowers out here. These attract a lot of birds. Dove hunting used to be really good. My son used to come out here and go dove hunting, and you could just stay in one spot and the doves would come flying by and just shoot them as they went by. In case you didn't know, I used to live over here, so this is like my playground when I was growing up. Most of my years of adulthood I spent in the Honey Lake Valley, living over by Susanville. This is where we used to go play. This is the parking area for the petroglyphs. We've been out here before. I put a video up recently on a trip that we made over here. Maybe I'll put a couple of pictures up here of the petroglyphs that are over there, and they're right over there on those rocks. They're just to the right of that sign. That rim rock over there has got petroglyphs all over it, all around it. So just interesting things to look at out here in the desert, left over from the Indians that used to live here, or Native Americans, if you will. But we're going this way. We're turning right here. We're not going over there. We're taking this road instead. And this road goes around. That's Schaefer Mountain right there, and this road goes to the right, to the left of Schaefer Mountain, and goes around it. It's a four-wheel drive road. We'll see what kind of condition it's in. Last time I was on it, I was on a motorcycle. It was pretty rough for my bike, but that was so many years ago. Who knows what it looks like now. picked up an entourage. Apparently it's easier for them to walk down the road than it is to step off the road and let us go by, which is okay. We finally got rid of our entourage. That was what, probably a mile or so that we couldn't get rid of them. We finally did. Looks like there's somewhere up on the road. Boy, there's a whole pile of them right there. Those are pronghorn antelope. Usually see quite a few of those out here in the desert. Those are the first ones we've seen today. This pile of rocks here, we saw a little pile that looks like it's been stacked up. I got to go see what's going on with that. Guess Karen's gonna sit in the Jeep.
Yes, yes.
Okay. This is where we just saw those pronghorn antelope running across the desert. When you have a big flat expanse like this, and this is pretty flat out here. It's there's not a whole lot of variation to the ground. It's all pretty flat, and this place here has got a little bit of a rise. And a lot of times the Indians would use those to their advantage to make hunting blinds, which is my suspicion on this. I don't know if that's what it is or not. Well, that's definitely been stacked up there. That's not natural. It's not exactly a hunting blind there. Oh, but there are some petroglyphs. There's petroglyph right there. There's some more right there. So there's another one down there on one of those rocks, circle. I bet there's others here along these along this little outcropping of rocks. Anyway, I'm sure that was done by Indians. Can't imagine. It's some sort of marker. Kind of like an old cairn, I guess, huh? A lot of times you'll find benchmarks and stuff out here that the surveyors made, but I don't think there's one under that. Anyway, pretty cool. Some artifacts. Gotta love it. Those are kind of that color. This is kind of an interesting thing. It's obviously a gate was here. There's a gate here, but it was open when we drove up, so we're not going to close it. There's a canyon over here. I think it's called Balls Canyon. I got to look it up on the map. And I'm not sure where the road goes. It looks like it goes up over that direction, so we'll find out when we get down here. I sure hope it goes all the way through, because I sure hate to have to backtrack as many miles as we came so far. So I can actually see like a cattle guard out that direction. Looks like a cattle guard. Anyway, let's see what that canyon looks like. Well, this is definitely a road less traveled. Those are our tracks on this road, and there's no other tracks here. We're the only ones been on this road for quite some time. So this little side canyon here looks kind of interesting. I'm gonna go take a look. Wow, how cool is that? A lot of times on these rim rocks here that along the edge you'll find petroglyphs a lot in this country out here. If we search these rocks, we probably find some here. Although this particular area may not have too much in the way of petroglyphs because there's really no water here. So, and this rock is all volcanic in nature. Got bubbles in it. So I'm guessing these are all lava flows flowed out here. And on the other side of the canyon, rim rock over there, it's the same stuff. Okay, that pointy thing, that pointy mountain right there is Schaefer Mountain. There's a bunch of radio, TV repeaters and stuff up there. You can drive to the very top of that. And then out here is Skedaddle Mountain. Is out that direction. That's up above Doyle, up above Wendell actually, excuse me. And it's just some of the landmarks around here that I know. somebody got stuck pretty bad right here. Feels good and hard now. Looks like I just need to stay in the ruts. We saw this thing from down on the road. We just drove up this short road to get to this. Obviously this was a windmill. Must have been pumping water out of the ground for the cows. Anyway, it doesn't look like it's not in use anymore, and obviously the windmill's missing. I'm not real sure why this pipe's going across here. Generally, when they had a windmill, they had the well usually sitting right over the well, and it is in this case too. There's the well down there. Must be a BLM thing. We've been running into some mud holes out here that are ones that you want to go around. There's this country, when it gets wet, it gets really muddy, and the mud gets real slimy and slick and deep, and so we generally, the road that we're on, I was going to go out this behind us. We ended up turning around and going back because we just kept hitting more and more mud holes, and I know there's a spot where it has to go through the creek, so we're just going to go back to the other way and hit the railroad grade and take that road out, and that's all high and dry, I know that. But some of these mud holes on this road are, and it's all from the thunderstorms we had. Dumped a lot of rain out here, and these mud holes are still pretty deep, and there's ways around them so far, but they got worse and worse, so we got to a point where I just decided it was easier to go back. Well, after plowing through a bunch of mud holes, and that were kind of sketchy whether or not we were going to make it, and had to be four-wheel drive with a lot of momentum. At any rate, we got through it, and now we're on the main road heading out to the highway, and that's pretty much the end of our adventure today. We just saw a bobcat run across the road in front of us. That was pretty cool, which is something you don't see out here very often. But anyway, it was an interesting trip today through that back road. And the worst part of the road was at the end there where the mud holes were, oddly enough. The road we're on now is smooth gravel. Make a good time on this one. And we'll be coming out on 395 here in a few minutes.